Nepal stands at the verge of creating history by clinching a place at the Asia Cup. In the rain-affected ACC Men's Premier Cup final today at the Tribhuvan University Cricket Ground, UAE were reduced to 106 runs for the loss of 9 wickets. The play will resume from the position tomorrow, and despite rain around, just half a day's play could be enough for host Nepal to clinch the trophy and book a place at the Asia Cup. Good evening, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha and these are the headlines of the hour. Exports start at Sindhupalchok's Tatopani trade point after 8 years. 3.7 million rupees worth of goods exported to China on the first day today. Humla's Hilsa trade point also opens after 4 years. The Central Committee of Nepali Congress still incomplete 18 months after its General Convention. 46 departments, 13 sister organizations and 18 well-wishing organizations in disarray. Turkey announces its forces have killed the suspected leader of the Islamic State group in Syria, says the IS leader was neutralized in a Turkish MIT intelligence agency operation on Saturday. And Nepal exhibits exceptional bowling performance in the ACC Men's Premier Cup final against UAE, restrict UAE to 106 runs for the loss of 9 wickets. Rain suspended match to resume tomorrow. Exports started at Sindhupalchok's Tatopani trade point along the China border from today after 8 years. The exports, which had stopped after the April 2015 earthquake, resumed from today. According to the Chief District Officer of Sindhupalchok, Ramesh Neopane, export resumed from today by sending 3 containers of goods to China through the Miteri Bridge with the presence of security personnel from the China-Nepal border area. The Tatopani Customs Office informed that goods worth 3.7 million rupees were exported to China on the first day today. 182 types of goods, including handmade goods, herbs and noodles, used to be exported through this border point before export was halted. Imports were allowed 4 years after the earthquake. However, exports of Nepali goods were restricted from the trade point. 2 Chinese companies, Tensun and CRCC, had constructed road, port and Miteri Bridge 4 years after the earthquake. The meeting of the mechanism held in Lhasa, Tibet on 29th of March had decided to reopen Raswagari and Tatopani border point. On 19th of April last month, the officials of both the neighboring countries reached a 6-point verbal agreement including resumption of export. Out of the 40 trade points in the country, the Tatopani trade point is regarded as one of the most important. With exports resuming from the Tatopani trade point, traffic has gone up on the Arniko highway that joins Tatopani with Kathmandu. Meanwhile, Humla's Hilsa border point along the Nepal-China border has also opened from today after 4 years. The Hilsa border point was closed for 4 years due to the coronavirus pandemic. With the opening of the border point, 18 residents of Humla have reached Taklakot in Tibet. According to Chief District Officer of Humla, Srinath Paudel, although the border has been open to enter China from Nepal, people have not been allowed to enter Nepal from China. 50 types of goods, including handmade goods, herbs and noodles, are exported to China through this border point. With the reopening of the border point, traders and laborers of Humla who go to different parts of Tibet have been very happy. The Central Committee of Nepali Congress is still incomplete even 18 months after its General Convention was held. The Nepali Congress statute has the provision of a 167-member Central Committee. However, Party President Sherbahadur Deuba hasn't been able to nominate 10 members to the committee even after a lapse of 18 months since the party held its General Convention. The situation of the party's sister and well-wishing organizations is even worse. Departments which should have been formed within 6 months of the General Convention haven't been formed even after 1.5 years. Out of the 48 departments, coordinators for the Central Disciplinary Committee and the Accounts Committee have been decided. Organizations like Nepal Student Union, Tarun Dal, Women Association have been almost defunct after not being able to hold their General Convention. The Nepali Congress leadership has been indifferent even in such a situation. Since the party's general convention, the party has been running without a treasurer. As per the party statute, a central committee meeting should be held every 2 months. However, the central committee meeting has not been held since the last one was held on 18th of August last year. The situation at the provinces is the same as at the center. Although discussions regarding power equation and political share were held in the office bearers meeting, the party leadership has failed to make the central committee, sister organizations, well-wishing organizations among other party organizations active. In our Public Voice segment today, we have asked people in several provinces what should be done to create an environment to honor labor and laborers. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
रोजगार पाउनु पर्यो
ठुलो काम सानो काम भनेर त्यसरी वर्गीकृत गर्नु भएन
सबै कामलाई समान रूपले हेर्न पर्यो
श्रम ऐनमा उल्लेख भएका सामाजिक सुरक्षाको विषयलाई चाहिँ तत्काल लागू गर्नुपर्छ
पैसा देते तो खुशी लगता है पैसा ना दे तो काम करके उसी दुख लगता है
सरकारले बुन्दागत स्थानीय स्तरबाट सुझाव सल्लाह सङ्कलन गरी त्यसको यथोचित मागलाई सम्बोधन गर्नुपर्छ
व्यापारी वर्गहरूले चाहिँ यो श्रमजीवीहरूको चाहिँ यो पारिश्रमिक चाहिँ तपाईको बेलामै उपलब्ध गराइदिएदेखि
राम्रो व्यवहार हुनु पर्यो
कामको सही मूल्य र मान्यता पाउनु पर्यो
श्रमिकले आफूले काम गरेको पसिनाको मूल्य पाउनु पर्यो
It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
But before that, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we had asked you, what's your take on the decision to hike OPD charges of doctors? 40% voted for A, burden on patients, 28% voted for B, result of inflation, and 32% voted for C, improved quality as well. And here's today's question. What's your say on 80% examinees failing the test conducted by the Teacher Service Commission? Your options are A, question raised on quality, B, conventional curriculum, and C, lack of talented students. The voting is on. Type NEWS, type ABC, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the international update. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has announced Turkish forces have killed the suspected leader of the Islamic State IS group in Syria. Abu Hussein al-Qureshi is said to have taken over the group after his predecessor was killed last autumn. Erdogan said the IS leader was neutralized in a Turkish MIT intelligence agency operation on Saturday. IS has so far made no comment on the reported operation. Erdogan said the MIT intelligence agency had been following Qureshi for a long time. Syrian sources said the operation took place in the northern town of Jandaris, close to the Turkish border. Last November, the jihadist group announced the death of its leader, Abu al-Hassan al-Hashimi al-Qureshi. The U.S. said he was killed in an operation by the rebel Free Syrian Army in southwest Syria in mid-October 2022. He took over the group after previous leader Abu Ibrahim al-Hashimi al-Qureshi set off a blast, killing himself and his family as U.S. Special Forces rounded on his hideout after a gunfight in February 2022. It's time now for the sports news.
Sports News.
Today's ACC Men's Premier Cup final between host Nepal and UAE was suspended as rain played spoil sport. In the final played at the Tribhuvan University Cricket Ground, Nepal won the toss and invited UAE to bat first. The decision turned out to be a good one for Nepal, as Nepali bowlers proved lethal as UAE were reduced to 106 runs for the loss of 9 wickets in 27.3 overs before rain stopped play for the day. UAE has had a disastrous start as they were 4 wickets down when only 35 runs were on the board in 9.1 overs and 51 for 5 in 13.1 overs. Sompal Kami grabbed the first wicket for Nepal, that of UAE skipper Mohammad Wasim, who got out after scoring 11 runs when the score was 17 in 3.1 overs. Tournament's top run scorer, Vitriya Arvind, then departed off Karan Kesi's bowling after scoring 8 runs as UAE's second wicket fell when the score was 28 in 4.5 overs. UAE's third wicket fell when Karan Kesi took the wicket of opener Aryan Lakra when 35 runs were on the board in 8.1 overs. Wickets kept falling at regular intervals and UAE were 106 for 9 in 27.3 overs when rain interrupted play. Lalit Rajbangshi was the pick of the Nepali bowlers, grabbing 3 wickets at the expense of 5 runs in his 4.3 overs. Karan Kesi and Sandeep Lamichhane claimed 2 wickets each, while Sompal Kami and Gulshan Jha also picked up a wicket each. The final tomorrow will resume from today's position as Nepal stand at the verge of creating history by clinching a place at the Asia Cup. Only the champions of the ACC Men's Premier Cup will qualify to play at the Asia Cup in Pakistan this September. And it's time now for the weather update. And that's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.